With so many rules that shape our complex society, it's easy to lose control of our individual autonomy. That's why designers should understand how this ethical concept affects their practice, so that they can create empowering and engaging solutions. But is it really possible to design without restrictions and meaningfully encourage autonomy at the same time? Hello creative people, and welcome to Sbjctv Design, the channel where we discuss design concepts with the goal that designers like ourselves use these concepts in our future projects. My name is Alice, and for today's video we will be discussing autonomy. Not to be misunderstood as independence, autonomy refers to the capacity of a person or group to make self-informed decisions free from external influences and not just self-reliance. It is the natural desire and essential human right we have to build our own story. In fact, some people argue that true autonomy means that people actually want to do what they're thinking of doing and not just the fact that they can do it. Such as deciding what to eat because you crave it and not just because you're hungry. It's also worth mentioning that unlike the concept of isolation, click here to watch that video later, being autonomous in no way means that you have to make decisions by yourself. It simply means that your social group trusts that you can make rational decisions. As for design autonomy, this concept primarily affects designers in three different scenarios. These are the choices made that impact working conditions, the factors considered when they're designing a project, and how much they encourage users to make their own decisions. Design is considered to be an autonomous profession since designers are allowed to decide on what the project will achieve and look like. Yet, because they still have to serve social, functional, and cultural requirements, designers are not entirely free from restrictions, and that means that the profession is instead quasi-autonomous. I hope I'm saying that right. Quasi-autonomy in design also relates to projects that seem to have no precedence or that intentionally ignore influencing factors. For those reasons, several projects by Peter Eisenman are often regarded as autonomous. The project called House 3 or the Berlin Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe, for example, consciously ignore the drive for functionality in housing or descriptive representation in memorials that people have come to expect, and instead they focus on the experience of the user. But the difficulty for designers to achieve meaningful autonomy is its biggest weakness as a valuable concept, and this can be seen in how focused implementations of quasi-autonomous designs are. Take Eisenman's House 3 project for instance, where by forcing the residents to inhabit the void within his unforgiving structure, they lose autonomy over the organization of the space. Encouraging user autonomy in a design requires a delicate understanding of human behavior. This is because poorly designed environments can increase individualistic behavior and people that feel entitled to make team decisions by themselves. Another issue with this concept is when users have too much freedom, which might entice them to make unethical decisions just because they can. An idea best demonstrated by video game design and how they try to prevent it. There's also the balance dilemma between rules and autonomy, where in the case of sustainability, for example, people are less willing to make sacrifices unless they are rules. And if there's too many rules, people feel that they are too restrictive of their autonomy. Yet, when designed carefully, autonomy can significantly improve our daily lives. For instance, just picture a single mother and her young son. He goes to a school where students are mostly rewarded for memorizing and not exploring. And when he tries to go outside of the box to explain a topic, he instead gets punished for not taking the assignment seriously. Meanwhile, the mom is stuck on a design she's working on, and the office layout doesn't allow her to relocate so that she can reset her mind. And since the working areas are so close to each other, she can't casually discuss her ideas with team members without being distracting. She's also stressed about having to stay late for work because she promised her son and his friend that she will take them to the park. And she's afraid of letting them go by themselves because the community wasn't designed with autonomous children in mind. That is why designers should encourage meaningful experiences that promote, nurture, and assist user autonomy, which primarily impacts the user's psychological development, ease of life, and satisfaction within a community. In terms of psychological development, promoting autonomy in children has been found to improve aspects like concentration, creativity, curiosity, and emotional intelligence. For example, this can be achieved in schools that make everything accessible to the children and spaces safe to explore with minimal supervision to encourage responsibility and confidence. Other more technology-driven designs can facilitate an easier lifestyle that empower people with physical limitations or that simply want to enhance their performance. A great example of this is how smart lights can easily give control to disabled people or children, but also features in designs that we take for granted, such as live traffic information and the option to reroute. More often than not, however, the impact of autonomy is measured by user satisfaction, for which studies have also linked working conditions that allow the employee to be away from their desk to better innovation and performance. This is because by providing a variety of spaces in an office, the design improves user flexibility, access to technological resources, and personal well-being. So to summarize, design is a quasi-autonomous industry that, while limited in its freedoms from influences, it allows creators to encourage essential user autonomy in their designs, which is achieved by improving psychological development, ease of life, and social satisfaction. Don't forget to let me know in the comments how designs have made you feel more autonomous. Bye. Thanks for watching this episode of Subjective Design. If design runs in your veins, don't forget to subscribe for more discussions. You can also follow me on Instagram for updates and related content. The music was produced by my friend 𝗬𝗗𝗍𝗂𝗍𝗶𝗋. Visit him on Instagram to listen to more of his music.